My phone has been so crazy. Sorry, I'm coming in later than I said. It took me like 10 minutes to get this thing to even work. So I hope everybody's having a great day. I posted earlier that I wanted to hop in here and give you guys an update on my anxiety situation and also give you guys some tips and tricks that I have learned through this fun experience about anxiety and things that you can do that will help make it better. So first of all, I'll just jump right into kind of my story and what happened to me. As I'm sure most of you saw, I was scheduled a couple of weeks ago to fly home to Iowa to see my family. And I felt great and everything was fine. And I got to the airport and all of the sudden I got extremely lightheaded. And I think what happened to me is I think I had a blood sugar situation happening, which then I think from there sent me into an anxiety and panic attack. So long story short, I was a disaster laying on the ground, like picture me, hey Allison, in a dress in the middle of the airport, like laying on the ground, spooning my dog in her bag because we're about to fly. And like kind of going in and out of consciousness. And I can laugh about it now, but I'm like, wow, Gate A got quite a show because I was like laying there like half dead and just kind of going in and out of consciousness at that point. And then I think from there, I went into a panic attack from like, what the heck is going on? Like you're in public, it's not a good time. Left in the ambulance, went to the ER, the whole nine. So that was, special enough. But the fun part is since that experience, I have been really struggling with anxiety. Now, again, first of all, obviously, you guys know I'm not a doctor. So I am just sharing my experience, how it's affected me, friends that I know, and kind of what I have done that is helping me somewhat. So let's get that out of the way. But since then, I have really struggled with anxiety. And my anxiety, I think we all have, to a certain extent, that underlying anxiety that's just kind of always there. Like, we're always overstressed, we're overworked, we're under-rested, we're not taking care of ourselves the way we should. And there's just always that general anxiety, which sucks. But what I've really been dealing with personally has been much different. Mine has been more anxiety attacks that will come on. I've struggled going places. I've struggled leaving the house because when I go somewhere, I think I go into instant panic that what happened at the airport is going to happen again. And this isn't the first time I've been through something like this. Those of you that have known me for a long time, about 10 years ago, I had some heart problems that went on for a really long time. And I struggled a lot with anxiety and panic attacks after that as well. I was on meds that would cause me to, my blood sugar would go up and down. And if you've ever had to take high dose steroids, you probably know what I'm talking about. And it makes you all wacky. And I dealt with the same thing then. So, hey Lisa, hey girl, how are you? This is another girl, she just had a surgery. How are you, friend? I've been thinking about you. But so what would happen to me and what is happening to me now, is that I'm fine and I know I'm fine. And then I'll start to go somewhere and I instantly will go into a panic. And when I say panic, it's not like I'm a little nervous or, I don't know. It's breaking out in sweats. You feel tingles all over. I instantly think I'm passing out. I become super lightheaded. And it's just an extreme feeling of like, I have to get out of here right now. That's kind of the best way that I can explain it. I don't know if anybody else has gone through anything like that, but it's not fun at all. Because not only is the initial situation, the whole airport drama and leaving in the ambulance and going to the emergency room and all of that joy is fun enough. But the aftermath of the anxiety, if anybody has gone through something like that, it's not fun because the simplest thing becomes terrifying. Like, I have to go to the grocery store. Can I do that? Am I going to get there and freak out? Am I going to be okay? That's kind of what I've been going through. And I'll get somewhere and I think I'm okay, and then an instant panic attack will set in. So that's kind of what I've been struggling with lately. And the reason I wanted to be so open and upfront about that is because I think there's so much more of it out there than we want to talk about. And I think it's important that we talk about these things. And mine really is much more situational. I know it has to do with my recent issue. I know it will go away. It did. I had the same thing after my heart problems and it went away, and I know it will again. So it's not like this is something I live with forever. But there are people that do, and it's a terrifying situation. It really is. And I will never again take for granted running to the store. I will never take for granted meeting my friends for lunch, because right now I'm still in a headspace where that may or may not work. I may get there and I might be great. I might get there and I might freak out. You just never know. So that's kind of what I have been dealing with. And again, I share this with you because if there's anybody else out there going through anything like this, and I think there are, hey CJ, I just want you to know that you're not crazy and you're not alone, and it's something that happens so much more than we think. And there are things we can do in the meantime to help. So what I really wanted to get into is I have researched this exhaustively. I have consulted with a bunch of my friends that are much more holistic experts than I am myself. So again, not a doctor, just kind of passing on some of the things that I have learned. Whether you just have more of a generalized anxiety, whether you have anxiety and panic attacks like I've been struggling with, these things can, should, and have helped me. So got my little list here. So I make sure to kind of give you guys everything I've got. So the first thing before I get into any actual tips is you have to give yourself some grace. And that's hard. And I've been working really hard on that, not pressuring myself and just being open and honest with you guys, my friends and my family, that if I say I'm meeting you for lunch and then I don't come, it's not that I don't love you. I'm going to give myself grace. I'm not going to push myself into a situation I may or may not be okay with. And you have to do the same. You have to just take it easy. I have been blessed to where, as much as this is a struggle, I've been able to kind of deal with this when I'm not at work, which is great. And funny enough, all my heart problems happened in the summer as well. Maybe my body hates summer. I don't know. But I've been lucky enough to be able to deal with a lot of those things when I have some time off, which really helps. But just give yourself some grace. Nothing's going to get fixed overnight, but there are things that we can do short term that will help. And then there are things that we can start putting in place that long term will help. So give yourself grace, friend. That's number one. Like number one. Give yourself grace. Number two, share with your closest friends. I'm not saying you got to be crazy like me and go on social media and tell the whole world all your fun business, but tell your family, tell your closest friends so they'll understand and they know kind of what's going on. And it really does take pressure off of you, because then you don't feel like you have to be like, oh my God, what am I going to tell her? I'm supposed to have tea in 10 minutes and I'm dying and what am I going to say? And you freak out. And tell them. If they're your close friends, they understand. And if they don't understand, deuces, get out of my life, because we all have our own ish, people. So let's love on each other and support each other. So now let's get into some foods and things like that we can do, some things that will help and some things that maybe we should avoid. So things that I have learned and have implemented, and even in the last week or so have really been helping me. We need more omega-3s in our body. So eat your salmon, your walnuts, your healthy fish, those kinds of things. If you do chia seeds, I actually take a blend. It's, I want to say like 6 or 7 different chia seeds, and they're all micro sliced. So it's not all chia is the same, friends. So do some research and make sure that you find a really, really good one. And I legit dump it in water, stir it, let it get kind of congealed like, and slam it. And just feeding your brain those fats is so important, and it really helps. Gut health is everything, and I know we talk about that all the time, but seriously, everything that I think could ever be wrong with you is probably going back to your gut health. It's crazy how much your mood, whether you're talking about anxiety, depression, just keeping your mood stable in general, that lives in your gut. It just does. So the things we're eating and how we're taking care of ourselves are gonna have a huge impact. So you might be like, whatever, here goes this girl again, telling me to eat healthy stuff and whatever. The reason I keep saying it is because it's so true. Do your own research. Don't believe me, but go do some research in gut health and the correlation that it has to anxiety, depression, mood, basically everything that could ever happen to you ever is in your gut. So get a really good quality probiotic. Eat foods with probiotics in them. The more the better. Get that in your system and start healing your gut, because you will be so surprised how quickly you will start to feel a change. So omega-3s, probiotics are huge. Water. Once again, it's no shocking thing. I'll take a sip while I talk about it. It's no shocker that we need water. Pretty much everyone knows that. But really, really focus on getting your water in. Take your weight, divide it in half, and that's how many ounces you should really shoot for in a day. And really try to make sure you get it in. Clock it somehow, monitor it. I know some people do the hair bands. Like, I have my Hydro Flask. You guys know I'm obsessed with my Hydro Flask. And I know how many times I need to fill this and drink it in a day. There are water systems out there. I know there's the apps. Whatever you need to do, do it. Because with the omegas and the probiotics and everything else I'm going to tell you about that you're doing, if you're not flushing your system and giving your body, pretty much every cell in your body needs that water. So again, do some research. It sounds so like, drink water, but it's so important. Drink your water. Antioxidants are huge, huge, huge right now. So hey girl, how are you? So do everything you can to get them in. Berries are so important, like so important. The amount of antioxidants in them and just all the things they can do for your body are so, so important. Go look it up, go do some research, or just trust me, because I don't want to pass out in public places anymore. So I've been researching like a crazy person. So I'm adding berries in wherever I can. I'm throwing them in my smoothies. I'm just eating them for snacks. And who doesn't like berries? Just do it. Just eat them. Hey, Teresa, how are you? Girl, if you guys don't know Teresa, you probably don't. She is bomb, and she goes on and does these makeup tutorials every day, and she's so inspiring to keep going and to try to put my face on each day. So, hey girl, thank you. Okay, so antioxidants, and it's not just berries. Look up different foods that have high levels of antioxidants. Get them in any way you can. Again, really focus on just flooding your body with all things good. So lots and lots of berries, and look up all the other things. I'm not going to list 7 million foods for you on here, but antioxidants are going to be huge. If you want to look up why, go for it. If you believe me, just do it. The other thing, and again, it varies from person to person. I think part of my problem is I struggle with keeping a consistent blood sugar, and I always have. So for me personally, I was doing the intermittent fasting for a while, which honestly, I really loved it. And the health benefits for intermittent fasting are like through the roof and crazy. And I really did thoroughly enjoy it. So I am not dogging it at all. But for me right now, in the phase that I'm in, I've found that eating more often is helping me with keeping my blood sugar a little bit more stable. And if nothing else, it's mental, that like, no, girl, you ate, you're good. Like, your blood sugar is not gonna go crazy. So that just is something that's helping me. I don't know science behind that and how it affects, and I know intermittent fasting in the end, I think, is actually really good for stabilizing your blood sugar. So that's why I say, I'm just telling you something that has helped me is going back to eating. I get a good healthy smoothie in the morning, and it may just be mental, but I know that I've given my body some good. And so mentally I know, no, you're fine, you've eaten, So like, that's just something that personally is helping me. The other ones, there's a ton of science that back all of them up. The last one, the eating smaller meals, I have no flipping clue. I'm just telling you that it's helping me. Whoa. And Lucy's really into it too. It's helping me. Now let's talk about some things to avoid. That's the less fun thing to talk about, but it's important. So one thing that there's a ton of research behind that is important to avoid if you are struggling with anxiety specifically is caffeine. I think we all know caffeine is a major stimulant, like duh. And when you're dealing with anxiety, especially dealing with an anxiety or a panic attack, if you've had one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it's basically like that fight or flight hits you. You know the surge of emotion you get when like you almost get hit by a car or you're almost in an accident and like just everything is like going crazy? That happens to you for no apparent reason is kind of what I experience. So imagine a stimulant on top of that just doesn't necessarily help. So I personally have been cutting out the caffeine. If I do intake any caffeine, I have found a much healthier source and a better way to do that, and one that provides some adrenal supports and some other things in with it that will help. But even that, I'm really trying to limit. Hey, Amanda, how are you? Definitely, coffee is just not good for you anyway. Get rid of it. Sodas, like, no, I think we all know those things, but just thinking about with anxiety specifically, getting rid of some of that caffeine really is helping. And then, like I said, if you do want some caffeine or you're the type of person like I was, like a major Diet Coke addict, and you need to wean yourself off, find a better source. Find a healthier version that I said that will give you adrenal supports and that will give you supports along with it so it's not so harsh on your system. Because when you're already up here and then you're adding a stimulant, even if you feel tired, it may help you a little bit. In the long run, you're really not doing yourself any favors. So caffeine is one thing to limit if you can avoid it. Sugar. Again, sugar's basically the devil, and I think we know that at this point too. And I'm not talking about all natural sugars. I'm not saying don't ever eat fruit. I eat fruit for lunch. But just really be careful with, you know, the granulated, refined, crappy sugar. You don't need it in your body anyway, and it's gonna mess up your gut. It's gonna mess up your adrenals and your liver and all of those things that, again, if you're just now hopping on, hey Heather, your gut is basically what houses all of that. So as silly as it sounds, things like that really will make a huge impact. Yes, Teresa, coffee was making you angry. How crazy. It's funny once you get your body in a good state to where you're not dependent on it, you realize what it really does to you. And again, I'm not trying to be like looking my nose down at anyone, because if I told you guys how many sodas I used to drink in a day, you would die. Like, I was a major Diet Coke addict. Like, bad. One of my classroom jobs, no joke, at one point, you guys, was my Diet Coke person. And that kid would get to be the one that went to my mini fridge and brought it for me. Like, it was a classroom job. I was so highly addicted to my soda. And I would have students that would be like, Miss Waters, you should really drink water. I'm like, I know. I mean, it was bad. So like, if you got a caffeine problem, I get you. I really do. Find a better source. Just do it. You can still have it. Start weaning yourself off, but the smaller the amount, the better, or get rid of it if you can. I mean, just for your health in general, but especially if you're struggling with anxiety. Acidic acid. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's terrible. I mean, everything about it is just terrible. It's terrible. So caffeine, sugar, avoid them. Any refined food. Once again, you guys know refined foods are terrible for you, but just think of all the things it's doing. Again, I want you to really think about, we always think like mental health, you think your brain, which yes, your brain, but that's why we're giving it the omegas and the probiotics and all those things that are, your brain is surrounded by fat. So if you're not giving yourself those good healthy fats, your brain is starving. That's a whole other topic. But feed your body and your brain the good stuff. But honestly, you guys, I want you to start thinking about your mental health in your gut. Stop thinking about your head so much and think about your gut, because that's really where it lives. So thinking about the foods that you're eating and that crap that you know you shouldn't have, it is affecting this. It really is. Research it, look it up. It lives in your gut. So refined foods, crappy processed meats and cheeses and all of that junk, get it out. It's not doing you any favors in general, especially if you're talking about anxiety. And then the next one, this one was tough, friends. Alcohol. Alcohol is one that is really best to limit or eliminate when you're struggling with anxiety. Hey, Jeanette. Now, am I gonna never drink? No. If you know me, you know wine and champagne are like my jam. I love them. However, I'm definitely working on limiting it and saving it for more special occasions and not doing as much as I was. Once again, and if you've struggled with anxiety, you know what I'm talking about. It's so easy to reach for that glass of wine because it helps you relax. It helps mellow you out. And when you're here, and you're just going crazy, you just want something quick. You want a quick fix, and the glass of wine in the meantime can help. It really can. However, long term, you're kind of doing yourself some drama and some trouble. So I feel like let's just rip the Band-Aid off and make it better. So right now, I'm not having any at all because again, mine is very situational right now. So I know if I really just hammer it in and help my body right now, it's gonna go away anyway. I know it will. It did before, it will again. But I'm just gonna do everything I can in the meantime. So that's a huge one that also will help. Again, am I giving up happy hours for the rest of my life? No. When I go out to a fancy dinner, I'm having a glass of wine or I'm not going. I'm still me, but a glass of wine while I watch Lifetime at night, maybe not so necessary. Just saying. That's like one of my favorite things to do. But I'm gonna really try to limit that because it's not doing your body any favors for so many reasons, but especially when we're talking about anxiety, depression, mood stabilization, and those types of things. Caffeine never gave me energy, so I wanted to drink, but thankfully I said, really? Huh. You know, Amanda, sometimes what's so funny too is if you're drinking caffeine and your body is super, super taxed, it may have the opposite effect. So like if you drink caffeine and it makes you sleepy, your adrenals are done, friend. Your liver is taxed. If you're drinking it and it's not doing anything for you, or especially if you're having the opposite effect, you are so far in the negative that you really need to start building your body back up. Hey, Kim, my GGG, my good girlfriend. But yeah, so that is just a little tip, a little side note. If you're taking some sort of supplement and it's having an opposite effect on you, your body is like in the hole. Like your health bank account is in the negative. So reach out to me and we can chat about that too if you want. But yeah, it's so interesting. Some people, if you have a little bit of caffeine and you feel it, you're probably in a better place than someone that's like, it's doing nothing. Like I would down my Diet Cokes, it did nothing. I didn't even do it because it woke me up anymore. It was just a habit and I wanted it. And I think I was addicted to the bubbles and all the chemicals and crap in it. So yeah, that's a whole other topic too. When you start talking about natural health and holistic living, oh, I know, right? She's so mad. She wants to be on my lap or like playing, and she's my little shadow, but she's a cute one. But when we start talking about that stuff, you can go down 7 million rabbit holes. So I know, right? Teresa, the bubbles are everything. I think that's why I love champagne so much. Like, there's just nothing like the bubbles. Like, it's the best. But I digress. Don't do it right now if you're struggling with anxiety. So just to kind of recap really, really quick, these are some of my tips and tricks. If you're just hopping on, go back and start from the beginning. Again, y'all know I'm not a doctor, but I've done tons and tons and tons of research. I've consulted with friends that are like holistic health experts because I want to knock this sucker out of the park as fast as possible and get back to me. So real quick recap. Things that you want more of in your body, good healthy omega-3s. Find yourself a really, really good quality chia. Not all chia is the same. If you're finding it at Albertsons, it's probably sucky. Sorry, but it probably is. Find a really good one and get it in your system. Your brain needs it so badly. A good quality probiotic. Like I was saying, stop thinking about mental health here and think about it here. Your mental health lives in your gut. So find yourself a good, quality probiotic. Drink tons and tons of water. It's gonna help you detox and flush. And while you're putting all this good in your body, you wanna be flushing the bad. And this is the thing, is your body's gonna detox the bad on its own. When you do a detox, the stuff you're putting in your body isn't detoxing anything. It's giving your body the tools it needs to work, because we're taxing our bodies so much and we've stripped ourselves so much that our bodies can't do it on their own. So you're just giving your body what it needs. Feed it the good, feed it the good, feed it the good, and then it's gonna detox by itself. So give tons and tons of water. It's gonna help flush all the crap you don't want. Lots of antioxidants. I specifically am trying to jam as many berries into my body as possible. So, and you can look up all the antioxidant foods, get as many as you can. And then, like I said, this one, I don't know if there's science behind it or not, but for me particular, it's helping me to eat more smaller meals throughout the day. So I stopped doing the intermittent fasting for now. And like I said, it might even be mental. So I'm just being honest about this one. I have no clue. But for me personally, even if it's mental, I don't care if it's helping me. So there's that. Avoid caffeine, just do it. And if you want some suggestions, if you're like, I'm so addicted, if I stop right now, I'll die, shoot me a message and I'll get you some options of things that are better at least, and then start weaning yourself off, because again, it's a stimulant. And when you're dealing with anxiety, you don't want more stimulation. You just don't. Sugars, like the refined, crappy sugar, not like sugars naturally found in your foods, but added sugars, don't do it. Anything refined, get it out. Eat real whole food. Again, you're flooding your body with good. So eat real food and try to limit or emit alcohol. It's also going to help. Like I said in the beginning, I think one of the biggest things is you really just have to give yourself grace. It's not an easy process. It's just not. Hey, Kendall. Quite honestly, it's embarrassing. Nobody wants to get into a spot in public and freak out. Like, who wants that? No one. No one wants to be at a grocery store freaking out and you gotta run and leave your basket of groceries. Nobody wants to be meeting up with friends for lunch and you have to go running out of the restaurant because you're having a panic attack. Like, nobody likes that. It's embarrassing and it sucks and it's not fun. But I think it's so important that we talk about these things, because so many people have reached out to me that are like, oh my gosh, I go through this too. Or I have in the past, or I know my friend does, my sister does, my mom does. There's so much of it out there. So if you do struggle, you are not alone. You are not weird. You are not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. We all go through these different seasons of life. We just do. Some are gonna be great, some are gonna be not so great. And if you happen to be in a not so great one, and anxiety happens to be one that you're struggling with, I am here if you want to chat, if you want to shoot me a message. I would be happy to go in depth more into any of those things that I was talking about. I still want this to be an 8-hour Facebook Live video. But if you want to reach out to me personally and ask me any questions about it, I'll tell you my whole crazy experience. I'm kind of an open book. So if you have questions or you just want somebody to listen, I am here, friend, and you're not crazy. Yes, the seasons of life. It's just true. And I think we have to shift our mind to, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And into, this is a season of life. Like, we've all got them. We just do. And yours might be anxiety. Yours might be depression. Yours might be a health problem. We're all gonna go through our things. I know friends that struggle with postpartum issues. I know friends that, there are a million seasons of life. And we really just have to start reminding ourselves that this is just a season and I'm gonna get through it and it's going to be fine. And it is. So if you ever have questions, please, please, please reach out to me. I will talk to you in depth and will answer anything. Like I said, I'm not an anxiety expert. I've just done a bunch of research lately because I'm gonna get through this and I'm gonna knock it out. So I'd be happy to share anything that I've learned with you. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. It's stupid hot out, so stay in the air conditioning, at least my Vegas peeps. So I love you guys. Thank you again for everyone that reached out and sent me your messages and shared your love and support. Keep doing that with everyone you know, because we all have our ish and we all need love and support. So I appreciate you so much more than you know, and I am here for any of you that need that same support. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.